Hey guys, welcome to one of our reviews. I'm Worm, this is the Proton. Today we're going to be doing a juice review, of which we did receive free of charge from John at e-smokeless.co.uk, but this will not affect our review in any way, shape or form.
Indeed. What we are doing today from John is Churchill, stylised after a popular tobacco cigarette. You can probably guess which, but that is what we're doing today. We've got 3 different strengths in this one, 12, 18, 24, so we're going to blast all them and see what we think of them. Do you want to start on the 12?
You want to start on the 12 this time? We're starting on the 12 this time.
There you go. Few details to go over. You've got different coloured bottle lids with different corresponding strengths. So 12 is blue, 18 is orange and 24 is yellow. So that is what it is, nice to have. You've got some needle-nose bottles on now. You've got your chip compliant labels, your tactile labels. Price on this is £5.99 for 30ml, so that's a very good price as well for any e-juice, let alone John's pretty high standard ones, to be fair. So there you go, that's awesome sauce. These are the 15ml bottles. We're not entirely sure what's going on with 15ml bottles. They used to be available, they were harder to find for us on the site the other day, but to be honest with you, you can get twice the amount for the extra £1.50. I would do that all day long.
Yeah, Churchill in 12mg. Zero nicotine throat hit, but there is a slight tickle off the actual tobacco taste throat hit sort of thing. It's a rich flavour. I wouldn't say it's overly strong. It's about right, the sort of flavour you got in there, but it is a richer flavour because it is like it's sticking to the back of my throat, if I'm honest. And yeah, I'm not a lover of tobaccos, and not one for me, to be honest.
Zero nick throat hit. There's a little bit of a flavour thing going on, as Worm said. It's not a massive one though. The actual flavour itself, it tastes kind of like a mild cigarette to me. That's what it tastes like. It tastes like, even using it feels like a cigarette to me, whereas a lot of them don't. In the 12 anyway, which is our strength. But the flavour itself, definitely tobacco. There's no two ways about that. I don't mind this, to be honest with you. It's not a bad tobacco. It tastes. It's not very leafy, if you like some of them are, where it's kind of, you smell it and it smells leafy. 18 is that one. Smell it and it smells leafy, and it tastes kind of perfume-ish, I suppose is the best way I can describe that, like a rolling tobacco would. It doesn't taste like that. It does actually taste like, to me, a genuine cigarette. So top marks for that, because that's yeah, it's not bad, to be honest with you. It tastes like it should.
Yeah, the 18 definitely getting a little bit more nick there. It's, the nick on this one seems to be going slightly up my nose slightly. It's giving me a little bit of a tickle up there. Obviously more nicotine, so I'd say for me it's like 0.5 of a throat hit, but if you're on the 18s anyway, you're not going to notice it at all. The flavour throat hit is the same sort of thing. It's just like a little tickle on the back of your throat, kind of like coats your back of your throat. Yeah, it's the same kind of rich, mild flavour sort of thing going on in there. No difference in the flavour at all really. Nothing different on the tongue really in the 18 either on this one, so it's actually the same, just in a higher nicotine strength.
For me, throat hit's jumped up considerably, because the 18, I'd say it's probably a 5 for me now on the 18, so I'm 24, God.
Should I press out with that?
Yeah, the flavour is still the same, however it's not quite as sweet, and it's definitely more of a punch for me, the flavour now. It tastes more like a sort of towards a stronger side cigarette. It still tastes like the same kind of cigarette, but it's more of it delivered in a different way. I think part of that is the nicotine does seem to coat your mouth when you're vaping, and the flavour carries through that. So this to me is more like the stronger cigarettes in the 18 than it would be in the 12.
We've got the 24.
Yeah, 24 is the yellow one. Yeah, more than it is us. It's on the 12. But again, guys, as I said before, in your nicotine strengths, you'll probably be tasting what we are in the 12s. It's just you have your preferred strength, and us going above the strength is always harder than going below in terms of flavour, because the nicotine does get very overpowering when you're not used to that amount of it. Strong, looks strong.
Throat on that is it's probably about a 4 for me, and that's quite high. Generally my throat doesn't go over a 5, so bear that in mind. The 4 for me is probably like a 9. And if you're on lower strengths, on the actual, if you're actually on 24s anyway, you're probably not going to notice much of a difference. But because the nicotine strength is kind of hitting your throat on that one. It's kind of giving that flavour throat hit, not much more, but a slight tickle more than it was before. The flavour's still the same on the tongue. Yeah, it's the same flavour. It's the same flavour on the tongue. It's just hitting my throat a little bit more, probably because the nicotine strength is increasing that a little bit. But the flavour does seem to be hitting it a little bit more as well, probably because of the nicotine. But other than that, it's exactly the same flavour. So
for me, yeah, throat hit's gone up in terms of nicotine, so it's about like sort of 7 for me now on the throat hit. But the kind of coatiness of the flavouring hasn't. If that makes any sense. The flavour still tastes the same. This is still, like I'd say, the same as the 18. It's towards the stronger side of the cigarette scale, more sort of Marlboro Red or something like that. That's a kind of, it's that kind of strength in this strength for me anyway. But the tobacco itself is still, it's not a sweet one. This one, guys, it is definitely more of a actual tobacco flavour. But yeah, that's what it is, I guess. But that's kind of what I'm getting from that one.
Yeah, guys, we do 2 marks out of 10. One for what it's meant to taste like, and one for our personal ratings. Indeed.
For me, what it's meant to taste like, well, it's meant to taste like a sort of UK cigarette. Yeah, it definitely does. It doesn't taste like it's meant to from the cigarette it's meant to be replicating. It does, yeah, it does taste like that. Obviously, guys, as we said, you go up in nicotine strength and your take changes. But yeah, it does. In my strength, it tastes like the cigarette is supposed to be replicating.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I haven't smoked the actual cigarette it's meant to be replicating overly too often, but it reminds me of that kind of cigarette anyway. I do want to note that this doesn't leave that dirty ashtray taste in your mouth at all, which is a plus, but it is a it's a rich tobacco taste. It's not overly strong, but the way it leaves it on your tongue, it's left like a rich taste to my tongue, sort of thing. So just bear that in mind. But for me, for what it's meant to taste like, yeah, it does. It's a 10. It's spot on.
For me personally, in a 12, which is my strength, I'd quite happily use that. I'm going to give it an 8. It does taste like a cigarette, shouldn't it? It feels like a cigarette as well, more importantly, because some can taste like a cigarette. If you don't feel like it, then it's kind of pointless. So yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 for me, actually. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, we've had a couple of tobaccos off John lately that I've actually rated quite high. This one isn't one of them. It's leaving that, not horrible taste, but that lingering taste of too much on my tongue, and I don't like that. There's a reason why I don't vape tobaccos, because I don't want that left on my tongue. I mean, I'm quite sure he won't mind, but the cigar that we previously got from him, I'd quite happily do that all day. This one, for me personally, it's not one that I would vape, but if you're into your richer cigarettes, but a mild taste, yeah, definitely one for you.
There you go. Right, guys, that's us for today, and this is us for this set of reviews for John. Obviously, sorry for the delay, guys. Vapor's time, Christmas, New Year, and all that kind of stuff. Well, it was always going to be a delay because of the time of the year anyway. Just lucky we're not Chinese, otherwise we wouldn't be getting these for another 4 weeks. Right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I've been Mr. Proton. This has been The Worm.